play Seven Stages of Grieving by Deborah Malman and Wesley Anook, and the contemporary interactive animation of My Grandma's Lingo by Angelina Joshua and illustrated by Jake Dzinski, both explore the genocidal destruction of the Indigenous identity and language due to European ideologies, which inflicted deep emotions of loss and anger, and the subsequent determination to restore it. The text used contemporary possibilities such as soundscape, interactive animation, symbolism, stylized physical theatre, and physical action to emphasise the reckoning of the Indigenous culture and younger generations' hope of reclaiming it. The determination and hope to rehabilitate the Indigenous language are demonstrated through the use of song and dance, stage direction, soundscapes, projection, and visual interactive animation. The manipulation of these contemporary possibilities allow us to explore the discrimination faced by the Indigenous people and their determination to reclaim their culture. The Europeans' dispossession of their land wrecked the Kanyini, which inflicted emotions of anger and loss. They miscalculated the importance and value that the Indigenous community placed on the land and their connection to it, which was a core cultural value. By demolishing this, it destroyed one of the vital pillars of their belief system, Aboriginal civilization, without which their identity, customs, and traditions were wrecked. Their land was linked to them like family. In Seven Stages of Grieving, in the bargaining scene, feelings of anger and loss are highlighted through the contemporary soundscape of hammering and the biblical symbolism of the cross, which promotes the ideas of both sacrifice and death. The stylized physical theatre projects the actor hammering two pieces of wood together to create a cross and driving it into the red soil. The stage direction of driving demonstrates her anger at the land being stolen from her community. The physical action of her running her hands through the red soil explains her relationship to the land. The silence of the scene evokes deep emotions and questions the ideology of what is right. The title Bargaining represents how the Indigenous people had to bargain for their land with mining companies, lawyers, and the government. She closes the scene with a direct address performed in the style of contemporary epic theatre, where she congratulates the audience with the rhetorical question, what is it worth? This short scene has no end, but instead challenges the audience as to how we can help repair the anger and loss experienced by the Indigenous people. My Grandma's Lingo similarly explores the European dispossession of the Indigenous language and identity through the oppressive ideologies. These were the things that connected and bonded their people, and the destruction of this abolished all cultural ties or links. My Grandma's Lingo examines emotions of grief through the contemporary digital animation of the elders disappearing around the campfire, leaving only three. And Jelena similarly highlights this through the contemporary voiceover, it's dying, it's fading away. These two contemporary possibilities cause us as an audience to question the Europeans' motivation to destroy a culture to such an extent it almost became extinct. It also causes us to feel emotions of embarrassment and encourages us to take part in reconnecting the Indigenous community's identity through reclaiming their language and land. The European assimilation policy dissembled the Indigenous people's identity, causing emotions of confusion and loss. The genocidal law was created to eradicate Indigenous blood by absorbing Aboriginal people into white society. This is illustrated in Scene 9, Black Skin Girl, where an Indigenous child is introduced through the contemporary form of song and dance. And with a stage direction, she dances around childlike, which highlights the naivety and innocence of the Aboriginal children. This then shifts when the unavoidable letters are projected onto her dress. At first, she thinks this is a game, but then realizes the contemporary projection is omnipresent and is ripping her away from her own Indigenous language. Her feelings of confusion force her to remove her dress. The Z is reminiscent of the inescapable symbol and the forceful power of the Europeans' ideologies. The childlike confusion and loss are now representative of hope and courage, as she is now a voice for our people in a period of oppressive laws. The contemporary episodic scene is a bridge into the injustice endured by the Aboriginal people through the assimilation policy. Grandma's Lingo similarly explores the deep emotions of determination and hope in the reclamation of the Mara language through the visual soundscape of an interactive video where we are taught the language. This underlines the sound effects of native animals and the environment to demonstrate their strong connection and relationship to the land, and immerse the audience in their culture and environment. The growth and determination to restore their language and identity are highlighted through the contemporary visuals of the circular ring of flowers. The visual projection projects the growth of the flowers as we learn the language and symbolically demonstrates the language flourishing as their culture and language is shared with the wider society. Another example of this is a contemporary interactive illustration of the growing number of houses. We interact with the animation through the teaching of the Indigenous language. For example, the word radba, meaning house, and the repetition of the word, which symbolises the growth in the number of houses. For the audience, this interactive video allows us to learn the language with the contemporary visuals, which in turn promotes the Indigenous culture to prosper for upcoming generations. This leaves the audience to ponder on the importance of regaining and restoring our own language for generations to come, and how the emotions of hope and determination can be used to restore the Indigenous language. In summary, 7 Stages of Grieving and My Grandma's Lingo use different contemporary possibilities to highlight the themes of loss and hope, and through them to emphasise the emotions of anger and grief. Through the contemporary interaction, we learn about the Indigenous culture, and our society becomes more connected. As an audience, the use of contemporary possibility encourages us to question our ideologies on what is right and what we as a nation have done in the past to the Indigenous people, and how we can help repair the anger and loss that they endured. The contemporary animation welcomes us into the Indigenous community, creating a connection between us and allows us all to feel part of a bigger community.